Hi, hello everyone. I am Azara, and this is another episode of my podcast, La Revoltosa. In today's episode, I talk about the first class that I had with David, which was the 31st of May, and what we did during his class and my learnings from this first class. David is going to be teaching us during June. We're going to have like 5 sessions with him, and he's going to be helping us to develop our performance, our final performance for the master. And so he has been going through all of our proposals, and he's just adjusting the classes to help all of us to, as I said, develop our proposals. And he mentioned that in few of us we were talking about Stanislavski in our proposals. So he wanted us to go through a bit of Stanislavski during his first class. So we did some exercises that had to do with visualization, action, objectives, and given circumstances. So the first exercise we did was without talking. The given circumstances were that one of us didn't want to be embraced or hugged, and so how you were doing that without talking, so just by the movement, portraying that circumstances. The second exercise was, given that same given circumstances, now you add some just speak, and then what he wanted us to do is as well get in this moment when an actor discovers the other actor and is taking the space. So then how do you do that within the space and how do you react to that? And then the last exercise we had, it was a different setup, so we could speak. It was a completely impro, given circumstances where one of us wanted to go to the cinema, but didn't want to go by herself. So she's spotting a stranger sitting on a bench in the park, and is proposing this stranger to go to the cinema with her. And then the person who was at the park, so is sitting on the bench, the given circumstances were that it's free, doesn't have anything to do in the afternoon, and then that person would decide either if he's going to the cinema or is not going to the cinema. So for the person sitting on the bench, David said to really visualize the park, so that it was very important that that person saw the park. So I was that person. So he was asking me for my local park, if I go to my park. And so I said, yes, I do. And sometimes I sit on in a bench exactly by myself. And so I sat down and I just saw my park, basically. So I picked up a spot of my park that I can refer as when I'm sitting, so I know that's the view I will have. And I know they could be, it depends on the time, but it's like a certain times during the day, there are not so many people around the park, so just casually somebody strolling or somebody with the dogs. And I just sat down and I saw that. So somehow, like in my memory, I was going back to maybe a scene I've seen in my park before. So just sitting and just people walking and somebody going the other way with the dog, and not many things happening around. So just seeing that. And as well, I was imagining and going back to that moment when I'm sit in the park. So normally it's a sunny day, otherwise I rarely sit down in the park if it's raining or so. And it's that moment when you, around 12:01, when you have the sun on you and it's so nice, you're feeling the sky's blue and the rays of the sun are on you and you feel warm, and then sometimes you have a bit of a breeze going on, so you hear the leaves making a beautiful sound. Just right now is happening. There are two trees by my windows, I can hear them, and then you will hear the cars passing and perhaps dogs barking, or the owners of the dogs. Normally they get together and they talk, so they chat, which is sometimes very interesting. I like, sometimes I have to admit, listen to people, what they say, especially if I'm by myself and they start talking next to me. And sometimes it's actually quite interesting, the conversation that they're having. So yes, I do that sometimes. I'm sorry. So I sat down and I visualized that and I felt that. So that was from my side. And then Ali, she was the one who was inviting me to the party. And then so I knew she was going to do that, to the party, no, sorry, to the cinema, I'm right thinking in going to a party. She invited me to the cinema, so I knew she was going to do that. But I tried not to know, and I hope I succeeded in doing that. And I just simply felt of how I would be if somebody is talking to me in the park. So I guess it depends on the mood, but in general, I don't think I could be very open. Oh yes, it's chatting so much. So it depends on, like, I tend to be very short sentences, a very short sentences person, I guess, and decline if somebody's inviting me. I don't think it. Well, no, it has happened actually. I was like, I don't think it ever happened. No, it has happened. I've been invited to go to a party a long time ago. I just remember that just happened. Anyway, going off topic, and I didn't want to. So my instinct was like not going with her, and that's what I said. So it was like a no. And I have to say, like, my head was like, I was fully in, but because it was an exercise and I have done impro exercises before, so I know you have two types of actors, the ones that they give and the ones that they don't give you. So if you are like with a no, you're not really letting your partner to do anything. You're just cutting the wings, to say, in a way, of the other actor, and you're not letting anything to work with for the other actor. So I became aware of that. So I thought, okay, my natural instinct is to say no and decline the offer. However, I cannot stuck in a no and declining the offer, because then I'm not gonna give anything to Ali for her to carry on performing. So I started asking her about which cinema she was going to, and perhaps sharing with her some of my personal experience about going along. So I just tried to establish a conversation with her, and I consciously thought about it, as I said, because I didn't want to be a no actor. But on the other hand, I think that's something that I would, again, naturally do if I'm with somebody, because I honestly feel you have to be very courageous to ask somebody that you don't know to go with you, or in this particular case, Ali mentioned that she didn't have nobody to go with because her friends could not make it, and she didn't know any more people, and she really wanted to go. And so how I do relate to that as well, like sometimes you want to do things and your friends cannot make it, and then it's like you don't do them because you don't have nobody to go with. And that's why I think it's very courageous to ask somebody that you don't know, it's like, do you want to go with me? Because I have nobody to go with. There's nobody around to go around with me. So if that happens, I think, again, so if I'm saying no, I would just try to make that person feel good, or not trying to, not making that person feel lonely, or, oh my goodness, you have somebody who you don't know to go with you because you have nobody to go with. So yes, that was a natural thing, and I think it went quite well. It was nice to have this little impro. I'm working into Stanislavski's method, and yeah, considering the given circumstances, the objectives, and doing the action. So we did that, and I really like it. And then we had a very interesting exercise that kept me thinking, can I add this to my performance? Now, my performance is in a stage of cooking. That's how I will describe it. So I have thought about it for a very long time. I have a very clear idea of the aesthetics of it. So my way of working is, first it comes the image. So I'm very sensory person, how to say, like I see first the look, the sound, the ambient, and then the text comes after that. I find it harder, the text. I can't see how I want it to be, or like where I want it to go through with the text. But I find hard writing, and that's not an issue because it's in English. It's like it's the same in Spanish. I found always hard writing and putting the things on a way that is beautiful. May I say that? I don't know if it's beautiful. I can write a lot. I'm very descriptive in my writing. If I go deep, I go very, very deep. But I don't know how easy it is to read that. Like, as I was saying to a friend just now, like if I focus on something, I'm like 200% on that. Like maybe it takes me time to focus, maybe because I'm busy with 1,000 things around. But if I'm focusing, it's like I can do things like in 15 minutes, half an hour. Like it doesn't take me time to do things if I'm fully focused, but it takes me time to be fully focused. So with the writing, if I'm very focused, I write a lot, but I go very deep. And then, so I don't know how that can be an interesting reading, or it can be very thick and heavy for somebody to read. So I don't know. So with my piece, I know the look, I know the feeling, I know the lights, I can visualize the props I want. And then I'm taking things here and there from things that I'm seeing, exercises that we're doing, like the exercise I was just about to talk. And I'm thinking, oh, I didn't think about that, but I think that can be implemented into my performance. So I have a great challenge ahead of me, because my performance is the 5th of July. And I've been working on the past in other performances for my drama school, for university. And I finished, I think the last thing I did was a performance for a project on a bus, which was a mentorship program we had during these months. And I had it very clear from the beginning. I didn't want to do my end of master project for project on the bus. I wanted to do different things. And now it's coming to the point I'm thinking, wow, you put yourself in a very challenging situation, because June, I'm basically filming every single day. I think I have four or 5 days off not filming in June. But from the days I'm not filming, I'm still working. And anyway, it's just a bit crazy. It's like for me, it's like it has happened by a misunderstanding. But here we go. So I find myself in this position, like it's really challenging because I don't have physically time to try to rehearse much. So I'm taking it. We'll see how it goes. I have to make the most of the days and not filming, and the days I'm filming, I guess it's just gonna go like test, learning and having the things so clear in my head, and then on the stage I can do that. I hope, that's my hope. So anyway, so we were doing this very nice exercise, which it was reaching different stages. So stage number one was like jellyfish. So it's like you're very floppy, very like, yeah, like jelly. And the second one is the stage when you just are waking up. So you're not fully functional. You're just like kind of like you're going like, oh, you're going to the toilet and you bang yourself against the wall or something, because you're still not really seeing that clear. It's like when you just wake up in the middle of the night to go to the toilet, and it's like you are so like you even don't bother to put the light on and just go and like, kind of find the toilet, and then you go back to your bed and you go to sleep. So that's that stage. Number 3 is Californian. So very laid back, walking, enjoying the sun, enjoying the free time, just really chill. Number 4 is neutral. So how you are normally in your normal life, not pretending to be chill, not pretending to be active, it's just how you are. Number 5 is the stage manager. So everything is under control. Everything's under control, and you are sorry, you're just doing the things that needed to be done, or they need to be done without people interfering in your actions. It's like these doors need to be open, they're going to be open. So that's the stage manager. Number 6 is James Bond stage. So emergency, but in control. So there's a situation out there, but it's everything under control. You can deal with it. Number 7 is panic. So there is an emergency and it's out of control. So let's say when the alarms take off because there is a fire or something, so it's like there's emergency, you have to do things, there's a bit of panicking, banging against walls or furniture. That's a stage. And number 8 is the catatonic. So off, like your brain switches off. And you are in that state. So with this given different stages, so David made us doing an exercise, which was hilarious. So we had to pick up an activity that we do every day. So nothing major, nothing very difficult, something like, let's say, washing the dishes or brushing your teeth, cleaning, anything. That it was easy and simple. I chose just with a little dustpan and the brush, just cleaning around, emptying it in the bin, and then continue going around the house. So that was my action. And then we did have to do these actions from stage 1, so jellyfish, to stage 8, catatonic. And it was hilarious. It was so funny, and I was out of breath, you know, by the time I got to catatonic. I must admit, I was so enjoying it just walking up, because the day we did this exercise, the day of this class, I came from filming, so I was just very exhausted by the time I came to uni. So I was really enjoying my just walking up stage, and I was like there for ages. I realized my classmates were very more forward than I was. I'm like, oh, I need to rush a bit. So I don't think I went into catatonic straight away. I know that I started to rush a bit, like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 stages, because they all end their actions, and I was the only one there cleaning. Said that, it was just really funny, because I felt my heart beating and being out of breath when I was like, state manager, J-Spawn, emergency, in control, panic, emergency without control. So it's like crazy going all around. And then catatonic, yeah, I think I didn't do it. I was like, just did something, I stopped because I felt a bit embarrassed that I was the only one who was still doing it. But I saw the comedy on this. I saw the comedy on the nonsense of, like, for instance, going into the stage of panic when you are just cleaning around your house. Like, why would you be in that stage? You're just cleaning. So it's the nonsense of, like, the action with the feeling. It was such a funny moment that I thought, sorry. So I thought, this is something I can apply for my piece. So my piece, or my project, is a bit very deep. Like, I'm going into the concept of relationship and family relationship, and the concept of changes in the relationship, and how we perceive ourselves, or how we behave depending on the circumstances where we are. So the different masks that we put on ourselves, and then that mixed with the use of social media, and the use of internet, the use of applications like YouTube or TikTok or Instagram, and I would say even WhatsApp. So how much we rely on these interactions that they are not face to face, and how that is changing as well our behavior. So putting all that together and bringing it down to the relationship in between my mother Maria and her son during the pandemic, and how that changed, and how that change has affected their relationship post-pandemic and during pandemic. So it's not, I don't see, or it's like in general, I don't see a lot of comedy on that, what I'm doing. But said that, I found this exercise at the day very interesting, and I found I can perhaps use it in my performance, simply because as the way to use it, it was So the Mother Maria, she's wearing many masks because obviously she cannot fully show to her child what is going inside of her, like the worries about are we gonna die if we breathe the outside, or I don't have enough money, or I'm completely alone and I need help. There is as I said, my performance is it has a lot of autobiographical content. It is not autobiographical fully, but obviously I'm taking a lot of my experience. So I had this unfortunate experience. I think the first day that we were officially on lockdown, I think it was the first, if it was not the first day, it was the second day of the lockdown. So everything is locked. You cannot go nowhere. You can go for a walk, yeah, but it's like you cannot go to your GP, you cannot go to your dentist. You can perhaps go to the shops, but you wouldn't go because there was all this crazy thing going, like, oh, if I go outside, am I just gonna die? Because it's this virus there. And I had this very hard experience straight after we went into the lockdown. So my son had a tooth that didn't completely fell off. And somehow the tooth, so instead of falling off, so it got like reattached to his, how was it? That was later. So I think it was like the tooth. So he had a bubbly tooth. That's it. Yeah, that's what happened. Sorry, it's like 2 years ago, 3 years ago. And it was, I had to go back to it. So he had a tooth that was a bit bubbly. And so the day after we went into lockdown, and so he was eating something, I don't remember what it was, but the tooth was just in a almost off, but just like, you know, sometimes the tooth gets a bit stuck with a bit of tissue, so it's not completely off. So he had the tooth like that. And obviously being a child, and you hearing so many things, so suddenly you don't have a school, and then this virus that is killing the people. Even if I was not talking in my house about it, but it's like you hear those things outside. So, and the only way to talk to your friends was through like talking to them with the headphones. And anyway, so I don't know why, but it's like on the head of my child came this idea that he was unable to talk, that he could not talk because he had the tooth like that. And he got into a massive distress, like really massive distress. He was crying, shouting. He was uncomfortable. Like he was feeling so bad. And I was trying to calm him down, but he was like, I guess all these emotions of what was happening. So because that happened to him, they were high up quickly. And so I didn't know what to do. Like I tried to calm him down for a very long time. And he was still like very distressed. So I called the dentist, and I said to the dentist, what happened? And my son was screaming at the back. So the dentist could hear my son screaming. And I said to her, it's like, I'm sorry, I have my son, he's in a completely distress. This is the situation, and I don't know what to do. It's like, could we please come and you remove his tooth, sorry. You remove his tooth because he says he cannot talk. He said as well, like, I think he was saying that he couldn't eat. And I said, I've tried to calm him down, but it's just impossible. And we just please go? And the answer I got back is like, no, sorry, you cannot go because it's not an emergency. And I said, I know it's not, it's not that he has an infection, something, I understand. It's not that type of emergency, but he's in a completely stress. He's unable to calm down and get on himself. Like, it got stuck on his head that he cannot speak. And I think he cannot eat. And the dentist told me no. They told me, no, sorry, it's not possible because we are in a pandemic, we're in lockdown, and that's not an emergency. So I had to put down the phone, and I remember being completely hopeless because I didn't know what to do. My son was screaming madly for hours, and there was nothing I could do to calm him down. And I didn't have any help from nobody around me because we live alone. And I had no help from, in this case, the dentist, that it was who could have helped him and who could have helped me. And then is when I realized how big the circumstances we were in was. Like, straight from the beginning, I felt like how to explain? It's like suddenly you see that you don't have any support from nobody and you are completely alone. And there's no one who can help you. And basic things as having a doctor or having a dentist were gone. So all my life, since I've been born and I have knowledge, is if I need to be treated, there's a doctor for me to treat me. That day I learned that that's not for granted. That's not happening. There's some people in the world that they live like that, and bless them, because it's hard. And I have to face that the first or the second day of the lockdown. And it was really hard. And it was very hard for my child. He eventually calmed down out of exhaustion. Like, he fell asleep of how tired he was. But I was unable to make him calm down. So that is like a very strong experience I have from the lockdown, and really stuck on me. And as I'm saying, these are the type of things I personally went through the lockdown and other things. And that's the perception. That's like one of the things I experienced that made me change my perception of the society I live in, my life, how it is, and a really awful experience, which is as a parent, which is seeing your child in pain and not being able to help your child. I think that's one of the worst experiences as a parent that you can have. That you are not able to help your child. Like, you would swap without thinking it, like in a second, like the pain that your child is having, you would swap it. You will have it. And failing such a big time to your child, that's hard. So that is the vibe I'm having with my performance, of like, strong different situations that happen during the lockdown and make you grow 30 years as a parent. And as well, as I say, like, I don't want my performance to be something bad and depressing, or like, oh gosh, all of us have gone through the pandemic, and those of us who are parents know what it was from the parents' point of view. As I said, I want it to be something positive, and what, as a person, I'm always trying to see the positive side of like the negative side of the negative events that happened, or all events that happened. And so the positive side I'm taking out of the pandemic is like, I saw the reinforcement of the relationship within the family, like spending more time with your children made you perhaps rediscover them. Obviously, it depends on greatly of the age of the child. But for many working parents, sometimes the school became not only the place where your child goes to learn, but then it's like your childminder. So you would send your child to breakfast club, and then like to after school club, and then to after school club. So your child spends most of the day at the school because you're just working and you don't have time to be with your child, which is I find that's like, as the project is very personal, so I'm entitled to give my personal opinion about this topic, which is what I'm talking about in my project. And I find that very sad that we have gone to that point where you barely see your children, and where you barely have any quality time with your child. Like at the weekend, they have clubs and they have things. So it's the amount you are with your child is very reduced. And as I feel, the family is the nucleus of the society. So if the family is strong, things are strong within the society. And if the family is strong, you are helping a person to then work and live within society. So I think it's very important, the role of the family. So said that, the fact that you were spending more time with your child, so made you perhaps understand how your child was changing, even like listening to the classes. I remember like liking his teacher a lot, thinking, oh wow, he's a nice teacher. I had a completely different idea from his teacher, from knowing him rather than seeing him teaching them, or having perhaps these moments of being together and nurturing back that strong relationship you have with your children, perhaps before they go to school. As I'm saying, is so the relationships within the family, they depend so much on the personal circumstances. If you are full-time working, part-time, self-employed, so not everyone can spend the same time with their children. In my case, I was self-employed, so I was with my child, I think, until he started school. Like I was really with him, taking him everywhere, and we were constantly together. So the pandemic brought that back, and I had to say I missed that, and it was very beautiful. So I think the pandemic brought back within a family this reconnection with the family. So if you are in a relationship with somebody, with your partner, or if you're not, with yourself, I guess, or if you have children, especially with your children, so reconnecting with them and being able to give them quality time, like not time that you have free time from work, but you're exhausted from work. So being able to be with them fully, and just for them, which is nice. So so sorry, sometimes I get off topic when I talk. You know that already if you have been listening to my podcast. But so I think doing one of these having a moment on my play, on my performance, that I'm gonna do something and I'm gonna go into different stages. I think it can relate to what I'm talking about. So I'm working on that. I'm working on when that moment is gonna be and how I'm gonna do that. So really looking forward for it. Well, this is like a very long episode. It's 40 minutes. Well, sorry, sometimes I talk really lot. And thank you so much if you came to this point. I don't know if you've seen the video or you are listening to me, but thank you so much for being here. And I will see you in my next episode. Thank you. Bye.